got video there. Let's see. Yep, we're good. I confirmed. Audio's recording. So here we go, everybody. Enjoy this as the show begins in 3, 2, 1.
Into the deepest jungles went Pressman toy makers looking for something new. The secret they brought back for you is incredible. The Pressman Witch Doctor Head Shrinkers Kit. Plastic flesh, mixing cauldron, and petrifying potion.
I'm gonna be eating some cheese.
The Morning Stream. Sweep the leg.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. It is the morning stream for Thursday, March 31st, last day of the month. So get your, I don't know, what do you got to get done before the 30th?
Well, get your patrons in. Like if you're not a Patreon, then boom, today is the best day to do it because you start feeling the love immediately.
Oh, yeah. As soon as you sign up.
There's no delayed love. It's
Brand new
immediate
month.
love.
Exactly. You get it right away. You get all of April's benefits. Maybe even the tail end of March.
I think maybe the tail end of March's benefits.
Yeah. So get over there. Get that done. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We're glad to be here. I'm Scott, and that's Brian. We got stuff to cover. Hi. Hey, I'm talking on this new mixer. I hope everything's set up right.
You sound great. What kind of mixer is it?
It is. So the story is when it went bad, my other one melted down.
Yeah.
I immediately cross-shipped one from Behringer, whatever it is.
I've always called it Behringer, but it could be Behringer.
I'm sure it's Behringer. It's probably Behringer, right? Like Tom Behringer?
I bet it's Behringer, like Tom. Yeah, it's spelled differently than Tom Behringer, but it's...
Oh, man, we've brought him up 2 days in a row. Is he going to die next or something?
No, I brought up Mackey because that's what my mixer is. So,
yeah,
man, we got Anthony Mackey versus Tom Behringer. Who's going first?
I hope neither. Well, anyway,
I hope neither, yes.
I ended up grabbing that thing, configured it, thought I had it working, was causing issues, could never quite get the right setup going, and also it's like like the sound adjustment stuff just didn't sound right. It didn't sound as good as what I was used to. And I could have lived with it, sure, but it was never high enough quality. Oh, also I couldn't hear myself while I also recorded, which was jacked.
That's a problem. Yeah.
That is a definite problem. So I got a Mackie. This thing is just a low end, nothing too fancy analog version of the Mackie called the Mackie Mix 8. And
no pro effects on your mixer, huh?
None of that stuff. I need none of that. I avoided that, not on purpose, but if it had come with it, it would have been there. But I probably would never
you don't
used
need.
it.
I mean, you don't need the extra, whatever.
I don't need that stuff.
200, 150 or whatever it is.
Sure. So I just needed something that just did good routing, good audio, analog audio routing, and it did.
Yeah.
So I'm going to recommend it right off the bat because 0 issues. I plugged it in. I dialed in the sound I wanted. All the routing's working the way it's supposed to. This thing's great. I'm not going to say the Behringer's bad, but I'll just go ahead and say it's kind of bad. It was bad.
Well, that specific Behringer was bad. Podcasting early days, Behringer made this perfect mixer for podcasters that was like, the size of a TV guide, and
little two, 3 inputs or something, and maybe it was only 2. It was like 2 mics, I think.
Exactly. Exactly.
I remember that. Look, they're a fine brand. I don't want to besmirch them. They just didn't solve my issue. And this one was cheaper. This Mackie was like, I don't know, $30 cheaper. So I'm good. And of course, Amazon's like, I call them, by the way, I call returns to Amazon back to Bezos. That's what I call them. So I've sent that entire mixer back to Bezos. He can have it.
He can have it?
Yeah. He can
take it back.
Did
you?
Yeah.
Do you, when you do your Amazon returns, do you have a Kohl's near you?
No, but we do the, so they have 3 options. They have Kohl's, they have the Whole Foods thing, and then they have UPS Store. And the best I can tell is they're all kind of the same. So we just do UPS Store because it's close.
Well, they might all seem like the same, Scott, but...
What, you get some free foot cream at the Kohl's or something? What happened? What did I miss out on? I feel like I missed
Kohl's. So Kohl's has the return desk, and you don't even have to rebox your stuff. Like you You just like hand them the mixer and all the cables dangling off of it, and that's fine.
Do they hate you though when you go in there? Are they like, oh, another one of these guys? Can't do this.
No, no, not at all. They have just a person at the desk who's smiley about it and all that stuff. I mean, you put it back in its regular box.
Yeah.
But at Kohl's, you get a receipt when you take it back, and on that receipt is $5 to spend at Kohl's.
Oh.
And you don't have like a minimum. It's not like, oh, spend $50 and get $5 off. It's like, here's a $5 Kohl's thing that you need to use in 7 days. It's
I
like,
had no idea.
Really?
That's crazy. I would do. You know what? I don't know if my wife knows this. She would jump all over this. She'd love this. In fact, I'm going to tell her today.
Well, it makes me think, all right, so what are all the things that I could buy from Amazon that are less than $5 and take them all back at the same time to Kohl's and get like a pair of Skechers for $8 or something?
Yeah, game that system, man.
Exactly. Or maybe they pay me. They pay me at Kohl's now to get the sneakers because...
I'm trying to decide the last time what I did in a Kohl's. I don't know if I've been there in a million years. It's been a while. We don't have one near us. We used to back when we lived. This is like 10 years ago, but we lived in this place where there was a Kohl's right there, and we went there a lot. But it always felt like we were just waiting for Kim to do stuff. You know, me and the kids just sitting in the car going, "Oh, mom."
It is the Kohl's we have, and it is literally a block away from my house. It is the closest retail establishment to Casa de Coverville.
Yeah.
It is soccer mom vans and yoga pants, like they almost a requirement. You must be wearing yoga pants and drive a soccer mom van to get in. Yeah. And can I tell you that when they come out of the parking lot, because basically we come out of our neighborhood at an intersection where the people coming out of Kohl's are facing the other way. And chances are the people coming out of Kohl's are not going to be driving right into our neighborhood. They're going to be turning left. So we always are waiting head to head at the light. We almost always turn left out of our intersection. Those yoga pants wearing soccer moms, none of them know how to use a turn signal. So we're always at that light waiting, and it's like, oh, just to put down her Starbucks or her giant Nalgene water thing, or put her phone down so that she can flick her turn signal on during the turn.
That's perfect. That's what you want when you're over there at the Kohl's, near the Kohl's. Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel you, dude. I hate that kind of stuff. We have a thing like that, like an intersection like that, that's like you never know where those people are supposed to go unless they honor the signal rules. If they don't honor the signal rules, you don't know what the F's happening.
Yeah, no, this is totally, you'd never know.
Because they'll just go right into you if you're not careful.
Oh, drives me
the other
nuts.
way. I hate it.
They totally don't know
to
turn that turn signal on. Just so, I don't know, you can let the people know that, hey, across the street, it's cool. You can turn left now because I'm turning left too.
Yeah, exactly right. So here's another thing. Here's how you know you live near a roundabout. Because we do. It's not super close, but it's close enough.
Oh, I love roundabouts.
This is how you know if any window is open in the house. Here's what you hear. Someone's always honking at the roundabout.
Really?
Yeah, because
they don't know how to operate. Somebody who's stopped at the roundabout.
Yeah,
like
they
they're
don't know how
waiting
to do
for the roundabout to turn green or something.
Yeah, or they cut in front, or they keep going when they're supposed to yield,
sure.
All the things you're not supposed to do with the roundabout, people do, and you always know when it happens because you always hear somebody lay on their horn at this roundabout near us. And sometimes it's my wife because she has the worst luck. She knows how to use a roundabout.
Yeah.
The other people just don't know how to use the roundabout. All right.
You know how to build the roundabout. You just don't know. Haven't pulled up that Seinfeld, watch Seinfeld.net thing, but
I did. I had it on for a bunch yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that was your. You gave that to us, right? That was you.
Yeah.
I love that.
But yeah,
that's awesome. I had it on for a couple hours just playing in the background, which is hilarious because later that night, once again, it was on a regular TV playing. So.
dueling Seinfelds.
This is probably a bad
you know what
idea.
I did yesterday? We're talking about equipment.
Yeah.
Right there behind me. And you know what? I realized that my microphone might block it, so I'm going to turn it a little bit. Right there next to the Tempest machine.
Oh, look at that.
Is my Marvel pinball machine.
Yeah.
Which, as of yesterday, is no longer just a Marvel pinball machine.
What is it now? What is in there now?
It is now a Marvel, a Star Wars.
Yeah.
A Williams.
Oh, shit.
and a Zen pinball machine.
That's awesome.
Any Zen pinball games, all of the Star Wars, all of the Marvel, beyond just the 10 they give you.
So wait, did you have to hack this or do some special something?
It was surprisingly easy. There's software now that kind of you just basically you plug in a USB thing to this and flash it, and there's software that does all of it.
Nice.
And
nice. It's all Linux crap anyway, so
it is. Yeah, it totally is.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome. I want that. That's rad.
Yeah, and now I have all my mini Marvel Funkos blue tacked to the top of it because I had no idea what else to do with those.
Yeah, you're either going to throw those away, let the dog chew them, or put them on your
pinball
They're
machine. Great. They're small enough to be terrific projectiles.
Yeah, why?
But,
look, whatever comes down to it, Dave's breaking in to try to get cash for his next Wii hit.
Exactly.
You can pelt him with those things.
Yeah, Jerd Star, this is the arcade 1-up pinball machine. It's digital. It's a screen inside, and that's the next hack I'm going to do is putting a brand new monitor in there that's bigger, like a full-size monitor that takes up the most of the table space.
Nice. There's an old video. So I wonder how hackable it is for could you put Sonic Spinball on there, which is a great old.
Yes.
You could put that on there. That's cool.
like the pinball, the old pinball game. I mean, technically, yeah, you could basically, if you replace.
Well, because Spinball's just a video game, but it's a pinball-based video game. So would it just play?
You wouldn't use the. I mean, you probably could do a thing to map the keys. There are videos online of people modding this to actually. The next thing I'm doing too is replacing the back glass with a monitor, and that'll actually work with some of the games, with the Zen pinball games, and show you stuff on there.
Sure.
But people have hacked that to actually put video games in the pinball machine. So, they take a break from playing pinball and they can whip out a little joystick and play Dig Dug on that huge monitor inside it.
That's cool. That's actually really cool. Dwight Schrute in the chat says, think of the dust gathering capabilities and possibilities.
I know.
Yeah.
Believe me. Yeah. Exactly.
This
this was gathering dust until I went to the Texas Pinball Festival and found out, oh no, those things are super hackable. They're not beloved by the pinball community, but if you've got one, you can hack the crap out of it or mod the crap out of it and make it into a really good, still digital, but really good pinball machine.
I wouldn't mind doing that to my Joust Rampage 1-up I have here.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm sure there's videos. I'm sure it's easy.
I found a video for that yesterday that where you turn it into a Switch screen. So like you play your Switch games on the arcade 1-up.
Whoa, really? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Wait, how are you
I don't know details, Scott, but
interesting.
Yes.
I wonder if it's running emulation. You're just running in the emulator for Switch games, which exists. It's not perfect, but it's okay. It's out there.
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
I'm sure it's 100% legal. No issues.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Nintendo, and as you know, Nintendo's really cool with this sort of stuff. They're happy with people hacking their stuff. They love it. They're huge fans. huge fans. All right. Hey, we got
big fans of that. Yeah.
We got a question that's about Marvel a little bit from a listener here. James wrote in. I don't know. This is not. I don't know who this is. It's not.
Yeah, we have a lot of Jameses in our group. I don't think it's James Grammer.
No.
I don't think it's James.
It's not James Svet, probably.
No, definitely not.
Hey, I was just wondering.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. I talked to them yesterday. I love talking to those two.
They're the best. They're the best. I love those guys.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, whoever this James is, I don't have your last name, says, he's asking the royal we question here.
Yeah, he is.
Are we sick of the MCU yet? Feels like a lot of crossover fan service these days and not much else. I just don't see the depth in the stories anymore. Is it me? It could be me, James. I don't know. What do you think,
If you
Brian?
don't like something, you don't like it. It's totally cool. You don't need other people's gratification or not gratification.
Approval.
You know the word, like approval to not like something. That's totally fine.
That's true. But would you, if someone said to you though, Brian, hey, do you think we're still running hot and everything's all good? What would you say to that? Do you think we're good?
I think Eternals was a little bit of a misstep. However, zero crossover fan service in that. No other MCU characters.
That's true. Don't they address stuff like New York and things like that?
They talk about New York. They talk about Avengers. they talk about the death of Captain America. Spoiler alert, or not the not death, but the leaving of the Avengers by Captain America.
Sure.
Moon Knight. We just watched that last night.
How is it?
Zero crossover. Excellent. Holy cow!
I'm excited. I'm gonna watch it today.
I was so worried with this whole like Oscar Isaac fake British voice, and now I realize I don't have to worry anymore.
He's the real deal. That dude, he can do it. He can pull it
Man,
off.
he really is. Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'll watch that today. Because it sounds
and
like
Shang-Chi was fantastic.
Yeah, it was good.
And
I enjoyed
very
it.
little crossover in that. I mean, you had Wong, you have
Wong and everything. Wong is the Ratzenberger of the MCU.
he is, yes.
Yeah.
You have what's his face, Slattery, the actor from Iron Man 2, Trevor.
Yeah, he's cool. I like him.
He is cool. You know, it's
I don't know. Look, the way I see it is we're between phases.
Abomination.
Right?
Mhm.
So these little one-offs are what we're getting, and it's fine.
Yeah.
And then we're between major phases of like the big groupie stuff.
Let's test the major phases.
And I'm still fine. It's fine. It's not.
Yeah.
There's no problem.
But James, if it's not for you, validation. That's the word I was looking for. You don't need other people's validation to approve if you don't like something. If you don't like it, you don't like it, and that's fine.
Yeah, you just move on.
Go find something you do like. If you're digging the DC stuff, great, good for you. If you're liking the new Halo show or Invincible on Amazon, there is so much content out there for comic book lovers that isn't MCU. You can get your fix elsewhere.
JC Calhoun says, I strongly disagree. Shang-Chi was bad. Hey, JC Calhoun, I don't need your validation. Okay. I liked that movie,
Yes.
although I really was annoyed with what's her name in it. But other than that, I really liked it.
Aquafina.
It just drove me crazy. I don't know why.
Really? I love Aquafina.
I like her
Maybe
in
that's
stuff. I like her in lots of stuff.
Okay,
I did not
all
like
right.
her in that. She drove me up a tree. I don't know why. It's just something.
The only thing that I agreed with you on is how this valet Parker woman all of a sudden became almost as good with a bow and arrow as Hawkeye.
Yeah, it's like Hawkeye Jr. over there suddenly
Yeah.
with very little training and about 5 minutes in the little town there. Now she's suddenly the greatest
Right.
arrow shooter of all time. Stuff like that drove me crazy. But just her whole like, it was just painted so broadly of like, here's the regular person who doesn't have any powers and is just sort of experiencing this crazy experience so that you, the audience, can be right there with her. And I don't like it when it's that overt. It's just like too much. I don't need it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yep, totally get that.
But his dad,
Claire
the guy
asks,
that
didn't
played
you
his
see
dad was
that
named-
vampire thing by Leto? And I say, not yet, but
It's
in
this weekend, right?
a few hours, I will have seen it.
Oh, it's tonight. Yeah.
Seeing it today, yeah. Technically opens tomorrow, but you know how they do that. Well, it opens tomorrow, but see it Thursday night for blah, blah, blah. And so,
Yeah, I'm really curious about that one. We don't have any early reviews yet, do we?
JC Calhoun says Morbius reviews are not positive.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was not expecting it to be great because
Ooh, it's bad. 18%.
Venom,
Ooh.
18% on Rotten Tomatoes is what JC Calhoun says.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah, I'm going in with low expectations based on Venom 2, and are people complaining about Leto? Is that the deal?
That was his problem.
Wow.
Well, the people, you know what? He's a mess. Whatever.
Yeah, Sony just doesn't know. They just need to turn over all of the Spider-Man stuff to Disney and say, yeah, we've got this really expensive machine and we don't know how it works. Can you make it work for us?
Yeah. That's a bummer, man. Oh, yeah. All of these are terrible.
Are they really? Oh,
Morbius
geez.
is
All right,
what
well,
happens when a
I'm
studio
sure,
applies a horror filter to an average comic book picture. The filter may shade the original image differently, but it's an unconvincing effect. Here's one. At one point, Morbius warns, I'm getting hungry. You wouldn't like me when I'm hungry.
Oh, no. No, really? Jeez.
So stupid. Oh, Brian, you might be in for a real treat.
I'm sure I'm in for a real treat. It's a bummer too. I'm not the biggest Morbius fan. My uncle is though, and this was a character that made his first appearance in Werewolf by Night, which was another comic he loved. Morbius is one of those characters that in the 70s and 80s, any guest appearances, my uncle would just buy that issue without question. Any appearance, he's got every single appearance of Morbius in comics from 77 when he debuted, whenever it was that he debuted, to
he was a 70s creation, right?
I'm pretty sure he was a 17. I think Gene Colan.
Feels like
the unfortunately named Gene Colan.
Yeah, Colan. That's a bummer to have Colan in your name.
Yeah, I might be wrong on that, but yeah, this is not give me hope.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
does this mean if this does badly, is Craven kind of off the table?
Maybe. Here's what they do, like, because neither of the Venom movies were like spectacular. They were fine. Maybe one of these needs to tank so bad that they finally do go, all right, fine, Feige, get in here with your baseball hat and let's get it done, and we're done messing around. Let's just hand over the chains to these guys. We'll still make money because we own the rights, and we'll do like Spider-Man and we'll fix this. That's what they should do. Just hand it over. That's how you do it. That's how you get it done.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and see. Even if maybe you could work out some deal where it's like, we'll let you make the movies, Disney. Could we have maybe 15% of the profits? Because we know you'll do it right, and you'll.
Yeah, why not? Can they take? They probably could do a 70-30 split or something.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. All right, it was Amazing Spider-Man 101. Moon Knight's first appearance was Werewolf by Night.
I didn't know that.
Morbius first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 1971.
71.
So,
ooh, that's early.
Thank you, J.C. Calhoun. You were absolutely right.
Okay, cool. That was I was going to say about I was going to say a thing about Morbius. I forgot what it was. I like the idea of. I don't know. They got Blade. Just bring Blade. Let's just do Blade again. That's fine.
Yeah.
Isn't that
and
happening?
there was a lot of connection between Morbius and Blade, which is now Blade because of Eternals.
Yeah.
Marvel stuck their flag in the ground and said, we got Blade. Blade's us. We're going to do a Blade thing. Settle down. Mahershala Ali.
Yeah. It better be bloody and violent, or else what are we doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they do this under the Touchstone name or some other name. Like, Blade is meant to be a bloody mess. So get in there. Oh, I can't wait for that. I love Blade. The comic, I love the comic. And I like the Snipes movies a lot. I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
In fact, you could argue Blade 1, the first true, because it was pre-X-Men. I would call it the first truly well-made comic book film of my lifetime. The first one, I think. Because what else was before that was any good?
Well, the Superman,
you can count that, I guess.
The Christopher Reeve movies. But certainly Blade was the first Marvel movie to
get it right,
To get it right, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's true. Do not mention Batman Forever, or even the Burton Batmans. I don't count them. I don't think they're good. I think they're kind of bad.
Right.
Sorry.
I don't know. That first one,
Keaton,
the first Michael Keaton was okay.
It's all right.
I still argue that Jack Nicholson is
overrated in that role.
way poorly casted for that.
Yeah.
1998 was the first Blade film, and so I'm trying to think, was there anything Marvel had a bunch of TV stuff, but had
they had no, as far as I know,
when did the Ben Affleck Daredevil was like 2004
2003 4 2 maybe, I forget. I took a 7 boys, they were all probably 12 or something.
Okay. All
this
right.
is back in my Scouts days, and I took them all to see the Ben Affleck deal.
Daredevil.
Yeah. It was fun. We had a good time.
7 boys.
I
took 7 boys.
It was a handful, though. 12-year-old boys are
sure, yeah.
A lot, man, and load them all up in 2 cars, and it was a nightmare.
Oh,
anyway.
Yeah, Greg Walkman reminds me. Howard the Duck. That's right. We did get a Howard the Duck movie.
Oh yeah, but we said done right, didn't we say that?
we did. I did say it was the first Marvel project that wasn't TV.
That's true. If that's the criteria, you probably give it to that.
Yeah.
And there may have been other attempts that I just don't know about, but
why would you start?
I know.
Why would you start with Howard the Duck?
It's such a low. I mean, I know, freaking what's his name? Hey, my waddle. What's his name? What's wrong with me? Who made Star Wars? What's wrong with me?
George Lucas.
George freaking Lucas He had a whole thing for Howard
I
the
was
Duck.
thinking waddle like a bird waddling. I was like, my waddle, what?
It works both ways, but he was like really. I guess he was super into that character or something, and just really wanted to do it.
Yeah,
it's bad.
It had came out the day before my birthday in 1986, and I was so excited because Thomas Dolby did the music, and then it was like, oh, all right, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I was excited because Marty's mom was in it, and she was
Leah
hot.
Thompson, hubba hubba.
Yeah, she was in her undies in that movie.
Yes,
I remember that,
which was about what Beverly wore in the comic books too.
Oh yeah, she was a little. I never read.
Beverly was. Beverly was a little like drawn to be a very like a redheaded Betty Page, very curvy, like
that makes sense.
Sex pot kind of thing.
That was the time, so why not?
Yeah, right.
Well, on that note, I think we're going to bring Amy in, although I haven't heard from her, but I assume we're good.
Well, should I just talk really quickly about...
oh, yeah. Tell us about this, but I keep forgetting.
While you get Amy, I'll really quickly. Yeah. So for those of you coming to TMS Vegas, we finally have a venue. We're going to be at the Artifice, which is a arts... It's a bar in the Arts District of Las Vegas, near downtown, a very, very short Uber taxi Lyft ride from the plaza. Very cool comic book vibe to this place, and we'll probably have the run of the place. We'll do a live TMS. Doors open at 8. The show starts at 9. I know that's later than the last time, but whatever. It's Vegas. Sleep in, take a nap midday, whatever, and gear up for some fun times with your old pals Scott and Brian and special guests.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah,
I'm excited. It's coming up. It's fast. It's gonna be here in less than 30 days. We're there, and you're there too. So be there.
Be there.
Be there.
Be there.
And now listen to this. That music's time. What? That music means it's time.
That music's time.
That music's time is over. No, that music is literally true because it came out in the 40s or something. But anyway, it's time for us to talk to Amy. It's Read This with Amy, who comes on the show and talks about, books and things, audiobooks, regular books, and why you should be reading them. We're bookish people here with Amy. Hi, Amy.
Hi, how's everybody doing this morning?
Very good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, you talk about Howard the Duck. I feel so bad for Leah Thompson's hair after that movie. Like, so much crimping.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was
so much damage.
Like, it looked like it was crispy.
Crispy crimp
from all that.
Yep, she had the crispy crimp. She was also, wasn't there a weird 80s. I always like these in movies, these weird gangs that aren't like typical gangs. It's like theme gangs. Like we talk about on Film Sack all the time, and it seems like Howard the Duck had a great theme gang, if I remember right. Can't remember the details, but I love the theme gang, man. It's like, that's why the Warriors is so amazing. Here's the baseball gang, and here's the stupid gang that wears the same hat, and here's the sweaty gang, and I love that. I want more theme gangs in our lives. I think it's better than real gangs. Anyway, it's good to have you here, Amy.
Thanks.
Let's let fly with what your recommendation is this week. I don't have any links from you yet, but I think
Discord.
I think you sent something, but Discord. Oh no, now it's here. It showed up just now.
Okay.
But it wasn't here, but 4 seconds ago. That's weird. All right, I'm gonna play. Do you want me to just play this and we'll go for it? All right.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Hold on a second. Here we go.
You're part of a large group, but in the raft, it's just the two of you and a guide. You spend the day navigating some surprisingly hard rapids in an incredible tropical setting. Then you and the rest of the group prepare to spend the night in little jungle cabins under a billion stars, with no streets or cars or lights or any other sign of civilization except guaro, a drink made from fermented sugarcane that is approximately 175% alcohol.
Is that Doogie Howser? Am I hearing Doogie Howser?
That is Neil Patrick Harris.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute. I think I know that voice. Anyway, what is this
You
book?
do indeed know that voice. It is Neil Patrick Harris, Choose Your Own Autobiography.
Clever. I love it.
And it is hilarious. Like in the gimmick, the shtick that he's doing is he wrote his autobiography as a choose your own adventure book. And It's really funny. It reads exactly that way. It's if you want to have a good childhood, go to page 43. If you want, I mean, it's like if you want, and
How
some
do
of
they
it.
how do they do that with the audiobook? I mean, I can understand like doing that, joking around with the print, but
It sounds like
Yeah.
Hodgman, kind of Hodgman-like, what he always does with his books. They always feel like manuals or something, and less of a story or of a book. John Hodgman.
Yeah, well, and he writes the entire thing in the second person, so as a choose your own
hilarious.
adventure book would
Okay.
read, But yeah, as far as he addresses that at the front of the audiobook. Actually, he says, now I recognize with an audiobook this is a little more complicated. So guess what? You just get to enjoy all of it, and plus. With the audiobook, there's actually a really fun part where you hear like a little teeny young pre-Doogie Howser Neil Patrick Harris giving a speech at
weird.
school.
really?
And
Oh,
it's
wow.
so adorable. It's just like, oh, I just want to pinch his little cheeks.
Oh, the artwork for this is great too. Like it's exactly what you'd expect it to be.
Oh
That's
yeah.
great. This book's a little
Total
old.
play off of the choose your own.
Not real old, but a little older. 2015 looks like, since this came
Yeah,
out.
it's I think it came out in 2014. So yeah, it's a little old, but I just learned about it recently. So I was like, hey, if I didn't know this existed, I'm betting a lot of other people didn't either. And I had fun with it. I love Neil Patrick Harris. I find him hilarious. And I loved him on How I Met Your Mother, and I didn't love his character because he's a
kind of a
misogynistic
cad.
jerk.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Did you do Box One by Neil Patrick Harris, by the way? Are you familiar with Box One?
I have not.
Excellent. We'll talk offline and I will mail you Box One and see what you think.
Ooh,
Fancy.
yay.
Box One. Is that
Box
a newer
One.
thing? I can't find it in here.
It is a mystery box by
Okay.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, I love this. I love this idea.
Oh, he's
I'm excited and intrigued.
He's written a
And
ton
maybe
of
what
stuff.
I'll do is have you just pass it along to Scott when you're done with it or something.
Yeah, I'll
'Cause
bring
you
it
can-
with me. If it comes before Vegas, I'll bring it
yeah.
with me to Vegas.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. And if it doesn't, then I'll bring it to Vegas for you.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Listen to this. This is great. Okay, so he's got these Magic Misfits books. It's like a series. They're kind of for kids. Well, they are definitely for kids. I love the description here because it sounds like his own. Like maybe he wrote this himself and very much tongue in cheek. It says the Misfits must work together to fend off mysterious attacks in this magical finale to the #1 New York Times best-selling Magic Misfits series from acclaimed and wildly popular celebrity Neil Patrick Harris. That's pretty good.
Wildly popular.
Yeah.
Sounds like he
Acclaimed
wrote
and
it himself.
Wildly popular. No, that seems. I didn't know this guy wrote all these things. Look at all these books. There's tons of it. He's got all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff. So it seems like a good one to start with. Choose Your Own Autobiography by Neil Patrick Harris. Available on Amazon, for example, for $12 for the Kindle, and then normal prices for everything else. So you can go get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And I mean, I bought it with an Audible credit, so
Nice.
there you go.
Well done. Let me ask you something about the way Audible credits work. How often do you get a book? Like, do you feel like you get through one a month, two a month? Like, what's your rate of how?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so whenever I get a lark to go get a new audiobook, I never lack for credits. I'll put it that way. So I haven't really tracked my rate of consumption there. But yeah, we have an Audible subscription, and I don't think I've had to pay extra for an audiobook in quite a while.
That's awesome.
So
All right.
put it that way.
That's the best commercial
Yeah.
I've heard for Audible in the 20 years I've been hearing Audible commercials. That's very good. Well, awesome. Just check this out. It's out there and available. And always, if you want a good follow on Twitter and other places, follow Red Fraggle, because
Red Fraggle.
the Red Fraggle.
Red Fraggle 3.
Nope, 3.
Three. Red
Red
Fraggle
Fraggle
3.
3.
Replace the E with a 3.
Red Fraggle E3.
Red,
Nope,
Red
3.
Fragglery.
People often ask me, like, what's the deal with the 3, and like, are there 2 other Red Fraggles? And I say yes, they're both in a museum at the Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta.
Oh,
Oh,
my gosh.
look at you. What a great answer to
Yeah,
that
that's
question.
a really good answer. Because usually if it's like Scott Johnson 69s, because there's 68 other versions of it.
Yeah, let's be honest. You pick Scott Johnson 69, even if there aren't 68 other Scott Johnsons.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Actually, I don't think I have that one. Well, anyway, it's always good to talk to you, Amy. Have a fantastic week.
All right, you
and
too.
we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye now. Oh,
Bye.
They won't hang up on her. Okay.
Bye-bye.
There. It took a second for, I don't know why.
That's a good test for any guest of TMS is what do you do when, we say goodbye, but we don't disconnect right away? What do you do?
Yeah, what do you do? I'll tell you what you do. You do this. It's time for some morning news brought to you by
America's Next Top Podcaster. The first episode is now on the feeds for patrons. So if you can't wait, then just become a patron. Give us $1 or $2 a month, and these episodes will all be yours. Plus, you're getting a big set of episodes on the Patreon that you're not getting in the free feed. You get a whole bunch of extra content, including full-length coaching from Tom, full-length judging episodes, the submissions from all the contestants, and a whole bunch more content. So go check that out. It is patreon.com/toppodcaster.
Very nice. I'd like to share with people real quick here something I found in a box. I can't believe I still have this.
Okay, all right.
This is...
What's in the box?
This used to be a full-size orange.
Oh, that's the orange. I remember that.
Do you remember
was
this?
set on the fence or the gate or the fence.
That's
years
where it
ago,
started.
right?
Yep, started there, and then eventually just ended up in a drawer, and it just continued to sort of dehydrate and not spoil. It's just this hard, petrified orange thing, and I've had it since 2005. That's how old this orange is. So the same year.
You love a good streak.
Oh, I love a good streak. And this orange is having a streak, man. And like, it doesn't smell like anything. Hard as a rock. Listen.
Yeah.
Doesn't shatter or break or do anything.
Sure.
It is just one solid, almost like a stone that used to be an orange. It's pretty cool.
Crazy. Wow.
Anyway,
Yet the Twinkie still looks like a Twinkie.
Yeah, the Twinkie does look like a Twinkie, and it's freaky. I don't know where that is, though. It's in another box, but if I ever find it, we'll show it on the show. And that's almost as old. I think that thing was 06, 05, 06, something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, you all think fries last forever? These oranges, that's where it's at.
They do. Under my seat, under the seat of my car is a perfect preservation location for fries, because the fries that come out of there look and taste just like they did right out of the box.
It's the Arvada National Installation of Fry memorabilia underneath.
That's
Brian's
right.
thing.
Exactly. Yes. Arvada
awesome.
fry storage. Arvada fry preservation storage.
All right. Here's your story. We'll get one or two of these in today.
Okay.
This is a Denver story. Okay.
Ooh, Denver connection.
Denver man faces felony charges after city accuses him of making pickleball court without permission. You know the pickleball. All the olds are into the pickleball now.
Yeah, the olds love the pickleball.
Yeah.
So does the plaza up by the pool. Are pickleball courts. If anybody wants to play pickleball during TMS Vegas, you have the location. You're at the right place.
If you don't know what it is, it's like not poor people tennis. That's not what I mean. It's poor
tennis for people who don't want to walk a lot.
Yeah. It's like short range tennis kind of.
Not quite as short as ping pong.
No,
but
no.
Yeah, it's like it's right between ping pong and tennis as far as the.
Oh, I do like that one. Large format ping pong is a pretty good way of saying
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's even better. Pops and
Well, a
nice.
70-year-old or 71-year-old Denver man is facing a felony charge after the city officials said he made a pickleball court without their permission. With prosecution on the table, some believe the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Quote, the whole pickleball community is really saddened and shocked, says Jan Denver or Devor. This is a friend of the 71-year-old Arslan Gunny is his name.
Arslan Gunny.
I'm making this pickleball court and you can't stop me, says Arslan Gunny. Let's see. She's also a pickleball player. Gunny and others used the basketball court at Denver's Central Park Recreation Center for pickleball. Last Monday, the markings on the court had faded, so Gunny remarked them with a Sharpie.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a little different.
Well, the Sharpie. Oh, that's the best. Like, not even. Could you imagine a guy like on a basketball court redrawing pickleball lines?
Yeah, it seems like a bad idea, especially with a Sharpie.
Oh my
it's
god,
permanent.
with a Sharpie.
It says here, let's see, the markings on the court. Let's see. Oh, there it is. 3 days later, an arrest warrant for felony criminal mischief was issued for Gunny. The court document also claims $10,000 in damages. Really? $10,000?
I mean,
10,000?
I think the first or second time it rains, Sharpie or not, it'll probably come off.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Maybe not rain, but a few months of sunshine, rain alternating, and that sort of thing. Jeez.
Well, they take it seriously, though. Gunny also received an email notifying him from the Denver Parks and Recreation membership that he is now suspended indefinitely, so he can't use that. I know. What are you guys trying to do to this elderly man? Or is 70 the new 60? I don't know.
I don't know. It'll be when we get there.
I hope so. The game, a mix of tennis, racquetball, and ping pong, is one Gunny has played for years, according to close friends. Deaver said she and others are appalled, shocked, and saddened by the situation. Mm-hmm. He is what we call the mayor of pickleball, she says. He is the mayor.
I am the mayor of pickleball.
No pickleball happens without the say of the mayor of pickleball.
Couldn't he get an asphalt-colored Sharpie and just cover up the lines he created?
He should. That's how I do it. That's how I do it. Let's see. He has written a letter to Denver Parks and Recreation apologizing. He's trying to be nice and say, well, I didn't know, whatever. They're all devastated, and I hope they pull back a little. Come on.
Freedom for Arslan.
If you're going to go pure letter of the law, I got bad news for you. There's a lot of letter of the law stuff people don't prosecute, so you're going to start doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody spit on the sidewalk, and isn't there just like a death sentence in some states or something?
Listen, Denver police, go after the people who come out of the Kohls and don't use a turn signal. Huh? You'll get like 100 people an hour guaranteed.
Brian already talked about a way worse crime earlier, and it was the stupid thing with the traffic.
Was that pre-show, the Kohls?
Oh, was it? I don't remember.
I can't remember if it was.
Oh, no, it was during the show.
Yeah.
We talked about the mixer. It's hard. Sometimes that stuff bleeds together. It's easy to do.
It does. It totally does.
All right, here's a story that'll curl your toes a little. A human corpse. So that's a dead person, for those who aren't familiar with the word corpse.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They saw dead people.
Was ejected from a transport van. A horse and trailer. A horse in trailer. Okay, in multi-vehicle crash on Route 17. This is a terrible headline. Anyway, says you have to believe it to see it, or see it to believe it. Says witnesses, a corpse being taken from a hospital to a funeral home fell out of the back of a transport vehicle in a multi-vehicle crash that involved a horse trailer on Route 17 in Paramus, wherever this is. This is in
New Jersey, I believe. Paramus. Okay. Yeah,
sounds right. The people who were hospitalized, none with serious injuries, in the 5-vehicle pileup. Good Lord. On the southbound route. Let's see. The body was on a stretcher wrapped in a sheet when it popped out the Honda Odyssey and went fling.
Okay. I visualize Bruce Willis on the stretcher, going as fast as the car is, looking around like, oh no, what's going on? How am I going to get back? Holding on maybe to the sheet to the back of the truck. And I'm trying to remember, is that Hudson Hawk that I'm thinking of?
Hawk. Was it Hudson Hawk?
What movie am I thinking of that has Bruce Willis riding on a stretcher behind like an ambulance or a hearse or something?
It's not the one with the Wayans brother, the Last Boy Scout. It's not that.
And it's not. I don't think it's Last Boy Scout. No. It has to be Hudson Hawk, because it was that's around the time period of doing the comedy stuff. It wasn't.
Action comedy crap he was into.
Die Hard was too serious, and Cole Cash said that's what immediately came to his mind too. And yes, it's Hudson Hawk.
It is Hudson Hawk. Okay. One of Brian's favorite movies of all time.
Come to Rome. We'll have a few laughs. We'll steal a few paintings. By the way, we our hearts are going out to Bruce Willis currently and his family. All the news came out yesterday about his aphasia.
Oh yeah, no, dude, I spent all day in defensive mode on Twitter because everyone thinks we cursed him by talking about him.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, happens every time an actor dies or goes through something. Everyone's like, "Didn't you just bring him up? It's your fault."
Technically, somebody else brought him up and said that he had dementia. That the rumor was that he had dementia because that's why he's taking all those other roles to have money. So
yeah, which is definitely not what he has. Aphasia is a very different condition.
We still don't know
cognitive
issue, but it's
we still don't know what the injury was that caused it, because it's always trauma that will cause aphasia, according to everything I tried to read yesterday. But anyway, all future dying or suffering celebrities, we will try not to bring your name up right before you announce your problem. Okay, we'll do our best.
Exactly.
Anyway, so this body went flipping out there, and they had to go get it, and they took care of it. It's fine. It's all good.
Now, if it was a comedy movie, the dead body and the horse would have somehow swapped places, and the horse would have ended up in the back of the hearse, and the dead body would have ended up in a horse trailer headed to Tennessee.
For all I know, this is the plot of A Fine Mess that I walked out of, that movie, A Fine Mess. Because it was
Blake
about...
Edwards, though, right?
Blake Edwards. It was Ted Danson, Howie Mandel. They were both kind of having a moment. And it was supposed to be this raucous comedy. And I made it like 12 minutes. And I was like, I am not watching this garbage. And I left. It was so bad.
You did really well, though,
Yeah.
and we appreciate your sacrifice in watching as much of it as you did.
Yeah. Oh, and Jeannie makes a good point. It is. I did read that it's strokes can also cause the aphasia, because that's basically brain trauma. So it could be a stroke. Let's move to this story. Brian, you wanna bathe and poop? You want to do that?
I mean, it's a Saturday night at Ibbott's house.
That's right. If it's Saturday night, all bets are off. Bathe and poop with Japan's latest weirdly wonderful bath bomb. All right. Move aside, unicorns. Time for some human poo to take the spotlight in the bathtub. Japan's love affair with human excrement has become something of a cultural icon in recent years. The poop emoji personifying the cute side of a turd.
Cute side of a turd.
Is that really a thing? Anyway, whatever. But now the poop emoji is here to take over your bathtub. Something confusingly called the Rain Bomb Mini Poop Chocolate in Japan. So you don't eat it. Okay, it's for bathing.
Okay.
It's supposed to be it's a bath bomb.
Sure.
It looks like a cute little turd. Doesn't stink or anything. But it's imbued with the sweet scent of chocolate. So it's like a chocolatey,
It looks like Gwyneth Paltrow's poop.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a candle wick in it? Because,
Yeah, there should be. Yeah.
That seems like the way to go. Here, chat, you guys can see this.
And actually, I was hoping it would look more like a pilot, like a more 3D version of the poop emoji. This just looks like a slightly flattened 3D version.
Yeah, it looks
of
like
the
a cookie,
poop emoji.
like a little cookie or something. That's
exactly.
That's not cool.
No, I want like a 3D poop emoji bath bomb.
Yeah, or I want like one that looks like a real turd.
Like a real turd, or Baby Ruth.
Yeah, Baby Ruth, and have that sink to the bottom of the thing. But I have it put off a lovely, aromatics thing, and clear your sinuses, whatever. But
when you look at the lower pictures, they look like sweet tarts. Honestly, the pink and the purple ones look like sweet tarts.
Oh, I don't see them. Why? Oh, because my browser's blocking these images for some reason.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know why. Brave thinks these are nefarious. Maybe they are. I don't know. All right. Well, there's your news for the day. I'm sure that helped everybody get through their morning. We're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister Wendy will be arriving. We got an email we're going to talk about today, and it's going to be good. So stick around. Brian, play that song.
Oh, yeah. All right. We're going to do a really good one here. This is The Bloods with a special guest, Laura Jane Grace. Yes, she's the lead singer of Against Me, transgender lead singer who is just has such an incredible voice. They have a brand new album called Together Baby. That doesn't come out until September 23rd. Holy cow. Like that's half a year away just about. Yeah. But you can listen to this song right now. The new song is called I Like You. Here are Bloods and Laura Jane Grace.
Now, shrunken heads for all occasions. Collect them, swap them, give them to your witch doctor friends. You can always cook up more with Pressman's Witch Doctor Head Shrinkers Kit.
This is what I'm having for supper. Chicken strips. Doesn't it look good?
The Morning Stream. How about a booby?
Back, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Hey, who was that again, Brian?
That was Bloods featuring guest vocalist Laura Jane Grace from Against Me. Brand new single called I Like You, pulled from the new album coming out September 23rd via Share It Music called Together Baby.
Ooh. All right, that sounds good. Let's give Wendy a call and see what she's up to.
Wendy.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Brian, we're going to call Wendy.
Wendy. Here, I'll play it. Oh, I hear it right now.
Everyone knows it's Wendy.
It's Wendy Dunford, my sister. All right, we're related.
Yes.
By blood.
Yes.
In fact, most of my siblings are Korean. They're not blood siblings, but Wendy.
Yeah, we're the only ones who share all of the same DNA.
Yeah. No, that's right. Because my brother Mark, 10 years older than me, is from my mom's first marriage, and some guy named Jerry I never met.
Did you never meet Jerry?
I've never
I never
met
met Jerry either, but
yeah, you haven't either. I don't think any of the modern kids have met Jerry that I know of.
I mean,
He's just a
Have you
myth.
met Jerry?
Jerry.
Yeah, he's an interesting story, that guy, but I've never met him.
Yeah, I was.
Anyway, so as we share this blood, today we share a microphone and we talk about helping people with real problems, because Wendy's a therapist. She helps people with real stuff. Comes on here and, slums it with us for an hour a week, and it's always good. Not an hour, usually less. Anyway, Wendy, it's good to have you here. Did you have snow? Or you had some snow, right? That's a bummer.
I did, yeah. I still have some snow.
Shouldn't be having that. You should be.
No. It's so irritating.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We had the most beautiful, awesome, breezy, warm day yesterday. Sun in my face, chilling with the dog on the back porch. It was amazing. So I hope that for you coming up.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to this email. This is one you got, right? And sent to me, so I'm going to read it right here, and let's see where this takes us. We're not going to give this person a name. I am a fairly recent widower. All right, I am 41 years old, and my wife passed away 3 years after treatment for breast cancer. She passed away at the age of 40, and we have 2 kids, 6 and 4. I've started dating another widow, and I really like her, and I see a very possible future with her. She's also my age, but she lost her husband abruptly 3 years ago. She also has 2 kids, 9 and 7. I have listened to you talk about going to marriage counseling many times before you get married, and I brought this up to the woman I'm dating, and she hesitantly thinks it could be a good idea. My question is, what should I be asking from what should I be asking from a couples therapist? Our relationship is rather new, so we haven't hit any real road bumps yet. We have a few issues I foresee, like I'm an agnostic/atheist while she is a Christian but doesn't attend church. Finances are also a question mark. While I make a comfortable living, she has a lot more money and potential income. Some background on me: I was with my wife for almost 20 years, but I was scared about marriage, grew up with divorced parents, and waited 10 years to get married. I've been seeing a therapist for a while, but stopped recently because of work and life taking too much time. I am also concerned others may think I'm moving on too fast, but after grieving for 3 years while being a caregiver, I think he meant to say something else there. But anyway, I choose to enjoy my life and move forward without leaving my late wife behind. Our spouses are very much a part of our lives still, but I'm extremely happy that we found each other. Okay, so this sounds like the beginnings of a possible, a very happy ending for both people, because they both are dealing with recent loss, and heading into this thing must be a little scary, but also they seem like maybe they're right for each other. So I don't know. Where do you want to send them? I know you are a big proponent of, like, let's do counseling before we get married and check our compatibilities and all the stuff or whatever. But that's usually younger couples. So does that apply here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Times 500.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, because your divorce rates on second marriages are significantly higher than first marriages. I mean, significantly. Probably,
I did not know
you're
that.
in the 60 to 70% range.
Yeah.
I guess that would make sense, right? Because there's probably a lot of fear in a first divorce, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to be the result of all this? And then once you get divorced and say, okay, well, I'm better off now. That was a rough thing. You know what to expect from it, and you're less afraid of it for the second one.
Yeah, I would have thought the same. So that's...
Well, yeah, no, it's not that at all. It's that you didn't deal with your problems probably the first round.
That probably makes more sense.
Yeah. You bring it to the second. Well, usually what it is that whatever was going on there, you just remarried a different version of that, and then added some. Now this person has a sister-in-law that's crazy, right? Like you've got all sorts of a combo of things that happen that second round, and especially blending families with children, it's incredibly difficult. So a young couple who maybe they share a dog, doesn't need couples counseling even remotely as much as someone who in this, like their situation. Now, if they were both divorced and doing this, I would say it should be a requirement. They should not even be allowed to have a marriage license before they go. That would be me if I ran the world.
Yeah.
Everyone has to take a course before they can have a child and before they can get married to just help everybody out a little bit. Anyway.
Yeah.
I do think, in this case, it sounds like they both had good relationships, so maybe marriage isn't the thing that they're stressed or nervous about so much, but it's just the reality of blending a family. So maybe if they could he could reframe it with her a little bit of, it's like, you have someone do your hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't do it yourself. Why?
True.
Because you can't see the top. Like you don't know what it looks like back there, really, and so you're
I do
paying,
my own.
Yeah, Brian does his hair.
Besides Brian.
Yeah.
But just like you pay a professional to help guide you through buying a home or redecorating something. Someone has skills you don't have and has a vision you can't see. And when you do it early, there's very little work that actually has to be done compared to if you wait. So if I don't cut my hair for 100 years and then I go in, it's a lot more work. Right? And so that's really it's more about preventative and positive, and that's most couple counselors are like, you're the highlight of their week, I promise. Because they're not untangling all the damage. What they're doing is helping you optimize the strengths you have, navigate stuff before it becomes a problem. It's ideal.
Yeah. I could see. I just feel like by the numbers, because it's kind of a numbers game. If everybody lived in your utopian ideal for everyone getting counseled before marriage, before kids, before whatever, you would have like it would be a huge effect, right? Mm-hmm. Like a massive effect on people's emotional, mental well-being. But we don't live.
It would be fun to try it. Like, can we have a little town where we start that?
Where everybody does the counseling.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, it'd probably cut down as much on marriage as it did divorces.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. There's a lot of preventative. Well, first of all, I mean, that's the other thing. And this is why I think there's legitimately people feel a risk sometimes is like, well, what if they say we're not a good match? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if a therapist tells you you're not a good match, it's because you guys are a hot fire and someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're not going to say that. Right.
Right, because everyone's got little issues. They're not going to say, "Oh, you don't like how he picks his nose? Oh, you're screwed." Like it's not like that. It would be more like, "No, he's a psycho," or he's, I don't know, whatever the reasons are. It'd have to be something big for them to say that.
Yeah, and also they're really not. That's not the job. The job is not to tell you what decisions you're making. The job is to hear and see, and then guide to a healthier version of what is already there. That's what couple counseling is, right? So when people come in, they're like, we're staying together. They're like, all right, let's work with what we got. And you do. You work with what they have, not some other ideal that doesn't exist yet or, whatever. So
chat room thinks you should be the mayor of Theratown or whatever we're going to call it.
Theratown.
Theratown.
What we do, here's what you do. We go to China because China's got a bunch of cities they started and then never populated. Have you ever seen video or footage of this? It's crazy. Like huge cities empty of nothing because it just never worked out or whatever. We take over one of those, and now when Wendy becomes mayor of Theratown, we're good. Let's do it. I'm ready.
The key is, and this is going to be a little more difficult, so we always have to have people living outside of Theratown, is no therapist can live in the town.
Okay. Well, that's true.
Because of confidentiality and... Yeah, they need
the
to
Audible therapists in that town.
Yeah, that's right. But if we do one of these abandoned cities somewhere, ghost cities they call them, and they're like whole factories there, we just take the whole place, do what we got to do, and then therapy people live in the next abandoned town that's only, a 10-minute commute. And
right.
And their town is called, whatever they want to call it, I don't care. We're perfectpeople.com town. Whatever.
They could also just tell a health in, it's fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Let's do it all by Skype or whatever. And you're good.
And then people outside of Theratown are like, oh, I want or this is a nightmare. Because anytime we try to create utopia, it just the opposite happens. So let's I don't think we should do this.
Yeah.
I'm scared now.
Yeah. But everybody would just for the fun of it later, when you got a minute, Google abandoned or Chinese ghost town. You'd be shocked how much stuff there is. It's really cool. Anyway.
That's freaky.
Continue down your path. Sorry.
So definitely go talk to somebody, and they're going to recognize what this is and what it's for. And this is, you could do a couple sessions where you just say, hey, let's just make sure our communication's up to snuff. Any resources or thoughts on how to blend the kids. They are all young enough. This is a great time. How do we make sure we include both spouses that have passed in these kids' lives? How are we all, being healthy and comfortable with that sort of thing?
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? What rituals can we use to combine our family and create, strong bonds? We've all been through some loss. We've all, just getting a little supervision on this is just going to go a long way. And, we do this all the time. We ask people we care about and love for advice, or what would you do? Or, we're doing that all the time, but we're asking people that are biased, and that has a place in life. It's fine, of course. But when you could ask someone who is not biased and can see a little, and has seen a lot of other things, sometimes they're just going to be able to steer you towards some stuff that just is going to make a big difference. And like I always say, you never know all the bullets you dodge when you get healthy, because, there's still challenges in life. It's not everyone gets a free ride, but, you don't have to find yourself in the gutter and be like, well, I didn't see that coming,
How'd I get here? Yeah. Right.
You can just live your life and never know that was one of the paths you might have taken. Some people are more aware of that type of thing. Like, whoa, I'm so glad I turned right on that intersection, or,
Yeah.
But for the most part, we just are going to be blissfully dealing with, sort of basic stuff rather than.
Isn't there a downside to that though, where if you're not aware of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good example. It's like people that are in a privileged position. Let's say their parents had a lot of money and it gave them a better start, or they, they grew up in a place where they weren't subjected to some of the problems that, say, poor people were, or whatever. They don't really know, and therefore cannot relate to people struggling worse than them because they aren't experiencing it. Is this doing the same thing in the long run, where if you, I feel like it's antithetical to what we're trying to say, but if you're working really hard on yourself and you become the best version of yourself, how is it hard to not lose touch with people maybe who need help, or not understanding where people are coming from, or not knowing what it's like not knowing, you don't know what's great unless you've known something bad, or you don't know what pleasure is unless you've experienced pain, because what's the opposite of, you know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, totally. I don't know if your example's a good one, but
it might be bad. It might be bad.
more like, well, okay. So you start when someone's 17, 18, and you take some things they went through as a kid and you help them work through that.
Yeah.
And now they're not constantly like, okay, let's say, there was something traumatic happened, or something with a parent that, and now you're going to spend the rest of your life trying to get someone to love you who also hurts you because that's what dad did, or mom did, or something. I mean, that's a very different life trajectory than the one where you are allowed to grieve and be angry and understand and learn and put certain things in place, recognize triggers, recognize when people are toxic for you or not. You're going to have a very different outcome.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's just that, it's like education in any form. You know better, so you can make different choices. You have options that you wouldn't have otherwise. So it's really sort of self-education. And we're not great at this. Like the other day, I was just thinking, what is a long laundry list of, well, I'll give you an example. So Peter made dinner. He is 10 years old, and it was delicious.
What did he make? What was it?
It's a pasta that has or grape tomatoes, like fresh mozzarella and basil, and it's really simple. It's not hard to make.
Wow.
The kid's been making pasta since he figured out what pasta was. He loves it so much. So he is. So he made dinner, and like the beaming pride, like the accomplishment of a lifetime. Like I kept thinking, this is the energy of someone, right? Like that it's just building self-worth. Like I can do a thing and everyone is eating it and liking it. And anyway, it was just like one of those moments where I thought, yeah, that is just an important life skill. And it's not even just that it's a life skill, it's a competence. Developmentally, we need to have a degree of competence about certain things to feel good, right? And so here he is making dinner and feeling competent, and I was loving it because I didn't have to make dinner. And then, I was sitting there thinking, like, what other things like that in life go a long way? That when you start younger, it's of course easier, but you can still learn to do a lot of things and become competent at a lot of things sort of later in life. Yeah. But I was just thinking, like, how to manage your email? Like, why isn't that a class? Mm-hmm. It should be, right?
Yeah.
Seems very fundamental, but like, do I archive something? Do I save it? Do I delete it? How do I keep this clean and make sense?
How do I not treat this as like one big to-do list?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and have it stress me out and cause me to panic, or how do I learn? There's just some things, and so, anyone listening is probably like, well, your parents should teach you these things. And it's like, did your parents teach you how to handle an email inbox? They did not.
No,
they did not. No.
They did not.
And it's not going to be like, come here, Junior, let me sit down and teach you how to manage an inbox.
Right. It's
here's how to manage your social media account.
I think that it's funny you bring that one up as an example because it may seem really basic, but it's also a very philosophical kind of training. Because how you handle an inbox is a lot about how you handle being overwhelmed, taking a bunch of stuff and segmenting it in a way that makes sense, building a to-do list out of a ton of people asking you to do things. It's a lot more than just drag it here, pop it here, and archive it there. It's like how do you want to tackle your communication? And that's a bigger lesson than just use your email.
Which ties right back to the marriage counseling, right? Like in the end, each pair in a couple have learned different things, different skill sets. Both in the emailer's case, have been married before, raised 2 children together. Like they have a lot of background that like they did things a certain way, and you're going to blend that. That is now the impact of 4 people because this previous spouses also had an impact on how that other marriage was run and, et cetera. And now we're going to all join that together. I mean, think about that like a project at work or something. Now imagine not giving it a project manager, just like, good luck blending all the things, right? Like, and this is just human nature. We tend to just like, especially when we're happy, right? We're like having a good time and I'm meeting this person and our brains are actually a little bit brain dead from not, this person's amazing and I can't see their faults and I don't want to see some of them. We're not great at that in the early stages, which is why human species continues, is that we have to be a little bit stupid at first, right?
Yeah.
But especially when there's kids involved and you're blending 2 families and your finances might be complicated. And by the way, everyone's finances are complicated. I'm working with somebody who, they've been married 10 years, have 2 kids, and they have yet to share a penny. Isn't that insane?
It seems like you ought to have at least some of that. I get different accounts for some people, and some people are, 2 different jobs. Some people are make that stuff work no problem, but
everyone's different, and everyone can make it work. But of course, I get to see under the hood, which is they also don't rely on each other. They might as well be divorced in some ways, right? And so we're working to build connection and interdependence. And money is just like a placeholder for relying on one another a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It could be something else. It could be who's doing the dishes or, who carrying my bags sometimes when I don't feel good or whatever, right? Like there's that interdependence. And that is something every couple has to navigate. And everyone can be different. They can have totally bizarre living situations that work out. It's fine. It doesn't have to be that you do things like everyone else. You do have to find what works. It's really hard to find what works sometimes if those things are very different than what you've been accustomed to, what your parents modeled to you. So getting on the same page and learning how to communicate about the things you'll never get on the same page about, because that's true. You will always have things where it never is going to align ever, from the day you dated, first date, to the day you die, and you're together the whole time. That thing doesn't get resolved. How do you handle that? And somebody, can help them, guide them. So I absolutely find your third party there that can just give you some guidance, and then keep their name in your pocket. So when you need it later, they can, they can be part of that family's development. It really is really valuable.
And it sounds like he's used to this, to the system. He understands it. He's been in therapy, gets it. So it's not. This will be an easier transition from him. Maybe this new relationship in his life, maybe she's a little less, ready to jump into that. But I think him having that experience is definitely going to help them get there.
Yeah. Well, and especially like if your family, no one asks for help in your family, and then your new partner's like, hey, we should do counseling. You're like, well, I've never needed that, or the only people I know who need that are really messed up.
Yeah.
That feels like a weird thing. And so, it's rather than like, let's go to a marriage coach. Maybe she'd feel more comfortable. Just the idea that therapy means problems is so ingrained in everybody, right? And life coaching is really like this way to like do the positive work of counseling. But counselors do that too, right? Like someone who knows all the nitty gritty and can help pull people out of a deep, dark pit can just like snap their fingers and make your marriage a lot better because they have just so much skill to do that. I do know therapists who don't want to work with anyone doing premarital or the easy stuff because it's just boring to them. So double check. Like, are you bored with happy people?
Yeah. They only is that a thing? Some people, some therapists just want to deal with the really hard stuff and don't want.
Well, I mean, I would say from my perspective, sometimes I'm just like, oh, this is easy, and I can do this in a session, and that's kind of fun. But I do like a challenge. I think that's fun. I also think there's a lot of therapists who have transitioned into life coaching because it really is all the fun, positive stuff, and they're tired of the hard stuff. So everyone's at a different spot, but I think it's worth exploring. And maybe, for the average person, maybe not in this exact situation, if we thought of things, this is, humans are terrible at preventative anything because we can't predict very well what will happen, obviously. And so we just are like bizarrely optimistic or sometimes bizarrely pessimistic, more so than we maybe is merited for a certain circumstance. And it's usually protective, right? It's going to protect me from getting hurt, so I'm going to be really pessimistic. It'll protect me from having bad things happen by just hoping for all the good. And sometimes that means, a rude awakening as real life hits, or you just need help navigating. I don't think there's a person out there who hasn't thought, ooh, I should probably talk to someone about that. Or who can I talk to about this? Or, ooh, something might be wrong with me. And usually if you wait till the house is on fire, it's just a lot more work. So preventative is
I do wish
way better.
I do wish the health system here was more conducive to treating that stuff the same way you treat other preventative health care. Because
100%.
I think that holds a lot of people back. They're like, well, my insurance doesn't cover it. I don't want to pay $1,000 an hour. I don't, it's another racket, blah, blah, blah. There's like just this attitude, about that sort of thing. And I don't know.
Well, and it's not easy. So like, friends are reaching out to me all the time. Like, okay, I got a kid or a friend or me who needs therapy. How do you suggest I do it? And I am helping them navigate it. I am searching with them online. I am doing the work that they need to do to, with them. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
It is. It's so dumb.
Difficult. And thanks to the pandemic, there's not a therapist who isn't booked and exhausted. So, you have a lot of supply chain of therapists has run a little.
I was curious about that. Is there kind of a supply and demand problem right now with therapy?
Yeah, for sure. Part of it is that more and more younger people are expressing. It doesn't mean there's a jump because of the pandemic for sure. And we'll see that all play out eventually numbers wise. But I think there's a lot more anxious kids and other things happening and social stuff that, occurred because of the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But I also think just the sheer number of people seeking help has risen because their awareness is better. it's my fault. I'm talking about it freaking every week on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Go get therapy. And I'm like, who, where are we supposed to go?
Yeah.
And, I work a lot with people overseas, and it is so much worse there. Just not as many numbers. Every country has just sort of its different understanding and take on things. Lots of expats are always just trying to figure out how to navigate that, because it's really tricky. So a long time ago, I'm not going to give you the whole history, but mental health parity was, is forced through passage in Congress as applying it to medical healthcare coverage.
Yeah.
It's still not parity by any shot. And, couples counseling isn't even covered by insurance. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know that.
No. So
It should be. Jeez.
Yeah, it really should.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Like,
It is crazy, yeah.
all these family values, guys. We should totally.
It is, yeah, totally right.
Yeah, I always go back
Screw
to
that.
Carl on The Simpsons when they said, "Good teamwork, Carl." It says, "Yeah, my teamwork," and I'll never forget that line. And it applies. It applies to almost all of these sorts of things. Everybody wants theirs, and when they say freedom, they mean their freedom. When they say freedom of speech, they mean their freedom of speech, and they don't really want you to say anything. So, F those guys, and that sucks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And couples counseling really, and especially preventative couples counseling, should just be mandatory. Like, oh, you want a license to get married? Here's a card. Go for 6 sessions. It'd be amazing. I feel like that's possible, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge, and no one's made me mayor of any town.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not even Theratown. Yep.
But I think that idea, though, is like it is difficult. And if you're an American, you have currently the most access of anyone in the world. And it's still this hard, right? At least in terms of population numbers and those trained. I think it's improving in other places. But I just know my experience in Sweden was just not enough numbers. It was very difficult to get the education and the licensing and to get all that done. And so you just didn't have as many available. And, that'll change over time as demand increases, but it has increased. And so get on waiting lists if you need to right now. And that's why I like the preventative models. By the time the house is on fire, there's no ER. There is an ER, but there's not the sort of things in place that
There's no brain ER
Too
unless
much
you're
destruction
bleeding.
and stuff that happens if you wait until it's too late.
Yeah, and if you go to the ER, they're going to, "What's the matter? My marriage is broken." "Oh, well, get out of here." Like,
right.
like we're not really equipped for it. The only time they have
I do know actual ERs they have entire sections for mental health.
Yeah, they always
events
bring in the psych
because-
guy on the TV shows. He's like, "Oh, we're getting a psych eval from Bill upstairs or whatever."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But just they need more literal space to sort of put folks, because there's just more and more having challenges, and then that's how our medical system works: is you go to the ER when you can't afford anything else.
Yeah, when you're just screwed, and then you pay that bill for the rest of your life. And that's
Yeah.
all
And here's
great.
where I'm a hypocrite. And there's the irony, is that I am really bad at this. Like, I am really bad at preventative stuff.
that is usually the case, isn't it? That doctors are really bad about taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's like that. I'm really bad at the well, we'll just wait till it's a flesh wound. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah.
So
I get you.
I hear that Sparks
not as I do.
that Sparks Joy organization lady on Netflix. I hear she lives in a dump.
Oh yeah, she
Is that true?
No, she probably
That'd
lives
be
in
so crazy.
a very organized dump.
Probably, yeah. A very organized dump.
Yeah.
All Sparks Joy. Yes.
It's a good title. All right. Well, this is all well and good. I hope this helps, and I think you guys are on the right track. I'm also super happy for them for finding each other. I think that's great.
Yeah, me too. It sounds like an awesome thing.
And your kids are young enough that this might be okay. You get a little.
Oh,
Brady
it will
Bunch.
be okay.
Yeah.
It's it absolutely. But just you got to do your best by them, and love it. That's great.
Yeah, there's something about, I don't know, a cool stepsister or stepbrother thing that can work sometimes. Like right now, things are a little cloudy around here because John, my mom's husband, is in the hospital getting, what's he having done? Oh, he's getting a kidney stone removed.
Oh, wow.
But his prostate's so big, I'm just giving him a bunch of HIPAA
Oh
information
my
here.
gosh. It's called HIPAA. You
I
can't
know.
reveal these
Well,
things.
Technically, that's true. But he's 90 years old.
That's not his doctor.
Yeah, that's true. He's 90 years old. He's got a gigantic swollen up deal there. So nothing can get past. So they got to drain first, and he's in the hospital. He can't eat. He's grumpy as hell. And my mom can't really drive. And none of this is fun. But even they could use some counseling. Even at 82 and 90, when you're so set in your ways, they would benefit from, a little bit of something. But they probably...
A little bit of help.
All right. Well, this has all been well and good. Wendy, anything going on besides that? I mean,
Yeah, we got our final week of, next week is our final week of Real Steps, and then we'll start registering people again. It's great. We have, man. Would you let me bring another person on to talk about their experience?
Of course.
And then you're going to do it, right?
Yeah, I'm totally doing it. This next session, I'm doing it. Me and Carter are going to do it. She says she wants to do it too. So
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So come for the lols, and Scott and Carter can give you an autograph if you want to join.
Yeah, that's right. Carter's autograph will be worth way more than mine. I can promise you that as time goes on. Yeah. There's my investment advice. All right, Wendy, have a fantastic week. We'll see you next week for more. Bye now.
Okay. Bye, guys.
See you.
All right. It's good stuff.
Yes.
Get counseling is the point. Hey, let's talk about some shows coming up. I know Coverville's today. What's going on there? What are you doing?
Yeah, tribute to Taylor Hawkins of the Foo Fighters today, because needed to happen, doing a tribute show when we lose somebody important. It's what we got to do. So a lot of Foo Fighters cover stuff that I didn't play when they were inducted into the Hall of Fame last year. So some newer stuff, as well as a cover by Taylor Hawkins' other band, the Coattail Riders, and maybe the weirdest cover I've ever heard of a Foo Fighters song, but I feel like Taylor would love it.
Oh.
So that's coming up at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, twitch.tv/Coverville.
Man, that guy, what a legacy. You go into a band who's already got one of the greatest drummers working.
Right, yeah.
And you somehow become as good or better than him, and you complete that band in a way that it's just...
No
really
one felt like they were second fiddle in Foo Fighters, right? I mean, they were,
Yeah, everybody was on deck all the time. Bums me out.
So that's 1 p.m. Mountain Time, twitch.tv/Coverville. I think I said it, but I'm going to say it again.
It's all right. Sometimes twice is always nice.
Twice
Core,
is nice.
Core is tonight at 5 p.m. We're going to go deep on those Sony tiered system they're going to launch in June. We want to get into that. A bunch of other stuff happening. Of course, the games we played this week and more. So check us out. Tonight, Core, that's video games the way you want them, 5 p.m. Mountain Time for the live show, and wherever you get your podcasts after that. Carter and I will be doing a game stream tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., a couple hours there. And then TMS PM tomorrow is happening. So come be a part of that, patrons. If you're not a patron,
do we know? Is it Dan or is it?
Don't have confirmation yet, but that's mostly because I forgot to ask him.
Okay.
But I think Dan is around, so we're gonna probably have Dan. If not, it'll be us doing apps. But either way, that'll be Friday afternoon, 2 p.m. Mountain Time for all of you folks who are patrons. Sign up if you haven't, because that's for $1 a month. You can come watch us do a live.
It's so much extra content for $1 a month. It's crazy.
Ton.
It's silly.
It's stupid. Yeah. We're dumb. We're the worst. All right. There will be Dungeons Saturday at 2 p.m. And, of course, a film sack this weekend. We're doing another watch-along while Randy's out of town. But that'll be this weekend as well. Oh, yeah, X-Files. We had a lot of fun with that episode. It was weird.
We did.
Yeah, it was very weird. I keep forgetting.
Went places outside of the episode. It's funny, like the stuff we talked about during that episode, talking about Charles Nelson Riley's toupee and how he once pulled it off of his head and put it on a contestant's head on Match Game.
Yeah, I always thought that was Gong Show, but when you showed me the clip, I was like, oh, it was never Gong Show. He may have been on the Gong Show once or twice. I don't know. Maybe it was.
I don't know if he ever was. It feels like it would be right up his alley. I mean, the J.P. Morgan and Jamie Farr could have slid over and made some room for for Charles Nelson Riley.
For all you kids at home, this was like American Idol before American Idol, man. This is what we had. Right. Yeah, this is the best we had.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm going to be a guest on. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting? It's like it's the educational thing that major spoilers. Ashley and Jason do. Geek history lesson, geek history lesson.
There it is.
Good Lord, why couldn't I figure it out? I'm going to be a guest on that this weekend. I don't think they do it live, so just look for the podcast once it's done. But I'm going to be talking about this little known, I'm not even sure I'm familiar with it, band of superheroes called the Avengers, and a movie that came out apparently, back in 2012 or something, I guess. But so yeah, be talking about the Avengers with Jason and Ashley for Geek History Lesson.
Those guys are great. I'm excited for
They
them.
are great. Yeah.
For everything else you're looking for, frogpants.com/TMS will give it to you. If you want to request songs or do anything else, it's all there. And email us, themorningstream@gmail.com. We're going to go now, but tradition states right here in the bylaws that we have to play a song. So do you have one?
Yeah. Well, I got a good one. David Link wrote in and said, "This song manages to be both cheery and a little depressing at the same time, just like the weather this time of year." You thought I was going to say just like a Saturday night at Ibbot's house.
I totally did. I absolutely did. That was funny.
I didn't think of it until I said just like this time of year.
Yeah.
Here's to cherry pies, candy bars, and chocolate chip cookies while they last. Bulbs to grow, though. Signed, David.
Oh.
That was a good hint. The cherry pies, candy bars, and chocolate chip cookies. You got it. You got it. Yeah, I'm talking about Nothing But Flowers, that song by the Talking Heads, where the whole world is overgrown and 7-Elevens are gone and Dairy Queens are gone and been replaced with big fields of greens and flowers and stuff like that. This is the band Guster with a live version that they did in Portland, Maine in 2004. Here's Guster, Nothing But Flowers.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Playing with myself. I'm going in.
I'm going in.
Don't worry, Sovereign Bohemian. Dan isn't going anywhere. We've got him. It's just every other week-ish. It's like when he's available.
Yeah, it's usually because he's got soccer stuff. His son is super involved in soccer. Sorry,